Hi friends, thanks for joining me here today at Watercolors with Jaylene. Summer is in full swing and I have a client that has asked me to create some greeting cards for her with a bright, summery, flowery feel to them. So I thought I would bring you along for the process. So if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you could go ahead and do that now, I would really appreciate it. And I am going to go over my materials list before I get started. I'm sure you're wondering what these are sitting here in front of me, and I'm going to explain that to you as well. These are pieces of watercolor paper that I had painted previously. I wanted them to be nice and dry so that we can get started on it and we don't have to wait for that whole process. I will show you how I came about to creating that. And then these are also background pieces of paper, so these will eventually end up on just a blank greeting card, and then the colored watercolor paper or colored paper as a background. So I'm going to set those aside for now. I set these aside. I have my paints, water to clean my brushes. The brushes that I'll be using today are a number 8 round brush and a number 1 round brush, a much smaller one. And then of course I have my cardstock for the greeting cards. I do have some double-sided foamy tape and some scissors, and then also I will be using a Micron permanent black marker, and this is an 03 nib. So to get started, what I want to show you is how I painted these to come up with all of the, I know they just look like little blobs of paint right now, and that's pretty much what they are, but they will become beautiful little flowers. So to get started on this, I'm going to just wet my brush with some water, and then I'm going to put a circle, and I'm going to be creating 3 flowers on here. So I just want to do, you know, 1 circle, and then I'm going to grab some orange paint, and this is out of my paint. This is called Cadmium Scarlet. And so I'm going to grab some of that, and I'm not mixing it with anything. Now I do have quite a bit of water on my brush, and I'm going to tap it into the circle that I just created. And I did it off center so that that can kind of blend out a little bit, because I don't want it super dark. We just want the, you know, color of the background. So I've cleaned my brush off a little bit, and I'm just gonna kind of work this around into that circle. And like I said, we're just gonna let that blend out a little bit. Okay, so now that we have that one started, I'm going to clean my brush off again and then do another circle. And we kind of want these circles staggered because they are going to become the flowers, okay? So I have that one, and there was a little bit of paint still on the brush, and you can see that real light orange that's still showing through, and that's gonna be okay. So for this one, I'm just gonna grab some pink, or this is actually called Rose Madder, M-A-D-D-E-R. And I will be linking down below in the description box the materials list, and my paint set will be on there. And of course, any paints will work, you know, and any color scheme. You can see on the 2 that I previously did, or that I'll be working on, I do have 2 different color schemes going. Just because for the set of cards, it's going to be a set of 5, and I want to have just a nice variety of colors for her. So I'm putting just a little bit more of that pink color in there. And now, and I do have blotting towel. I don't know if I mentioned that before or not. So what I'm doing now is just kind of helping this spread out a little bit, or blend out. And then I'm going to do a yellowish, and for the yellowish color, it's actually going to be, here, let's do my circle first. I'm getting ahead of myself, you can see. Okay, so then for this circle, we just want to, you know, get some water on the paper so that it can blend a little bit. And I'm going to grab some of my yellow ochre. And then on this, I'm going to put it in. And you can see that the two kind of touched and now they're blending together. And that is perfectly fine. It works great for this purpose. Okay, and we're letting that just kind of blend out a little bit. So now what I want to do is just put a little bit of water down in some of these blank areas. And I'm going to grab just a hint of my sap green. I don't want it to be real heavy. I just want a little bit of green color because that will eventually be like the leaves and such on here. Okay, and you can see that I am touching, you know, the color of the circles and they're blending in very nicely. And that's what we want. We want these colors all to blend together and just create a nice soft look. Okay, so we do have some green around the edges. And now what I'm going to do is clean my brush a little bit and dry it off, and to soften these edges, because we do want everything to be a nice soft color, very muted. And so I'm start away from the color and just kind of work into it just to soften that. See how nice that works? I'm going to clean my brush a little bit, and I do dry it off somewhat. There's still a little bit of water on there, obviously, but not much. And so we just go around the edges, and you start out and work in towards the color. Okay, you start out here. Let me turn this a little bit. Start out here and just kind of work in towards the color. And that way, it's going to soften it. And then this through here needs to be softened just a little bit. So we start out here and just kind of go along the edge, you know, to get that to soften. And then right in the middle here, I'm just going to kind of go right up through the middle. And basically, it's just a little small amount of clean water that is in there, and it's going to you know, kind of keep those edges nice and soft. So I'm going to set this aside. I just wanted to show you how I went about creating the color schemes and getting the colors onto the paper so that we can get started on the actual cards themselves. And let me clean up a little bit of my mess there. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside so that can dry. And now I'm going to pull one of these out. And I'm going to set all of this aside because we're pretty much done with that for the moment. And now I'm going to take my marker, my 03 nib, and it's a permanent. So on here you can see we have the three colors, and let's turn this around. I want this to be the top. So I'm just going to now get creative with my drawing and draw in three different flowers, kind of a, you know, like an abstract. They aren't real flowers, anything specific. And so for this one, I'm just going to start with kind of like what you would do with a paintbrush, creating a rose and go around. Okay. And then for this one, I think I'm just going to, I'll start with a round center and kind of do, I don't know, maybe like a, shall we call that like a daisy look, possibly. And then on this, I think I'll do, and you know, these, I want them to be like an abstract flower look. I don't want a real flower, because we just want to keep them fun and light. So now I'm doing just some little dots around the edges. I do want to keep them as dots and small. And then in the middle we'll do some dots, and then I think just a couple of lines. Okay, and then for this flower, I think I'm going to do, let's see. Kind of a big cup shape. Okay, so I have my 3 basic flowers here. And so now I want to draw in some greenery. So I'm going to put in, let's see, we'll start with a vine like this, and then just draw in some leaves. And if you have a favorite leaf, you know, or even if you were to do like small berries, that would be very cute as well. And over here, I'm going to do just a couple of different types of leaves. So you can see why I didn't want all of the colors to be, you know, why I wanted them all to blend, because I want the whole, you know, the whole thing to kind of blend nicely. And then down here, I think what I'm going to do is kind of turn this around for a minute and just bring some vines out like this. And on the 2 outside ones, I'm going to do leaves that are somewhat the same. I think I'll put another little leaf on there, and maybe a little leaf on the ends of both of those. And then on this one, as I had mentioned with the berries, I think I'll kind of do something like that. And we want all of this, all of the details to be done in the black ink, of course. I think I'm going to put another little sprig of berries off this way. And that really is about it for this one. Now what I'm going to do, and I do this a lot on my greeting cards on both the little piece of art and then also the solid color paper, is I do like to put a little frame or border around the design itself. And to do this, I just kind of draw it on here. I don't measure anything. It doesn't have to be 100% straight or perfect. That is the beauty of the original piece of artwork. And that's what all of these cards are. You know, each one is its own little piece of artwork. All right, so go down through. There, now that's complete. And for this one, I am going to put this on the lavender background. So let me just real quick add a quick little frame on here. And then down in the description box, what I'm going to do is put the size of the note cards and also the size of these solid pieces of paper. I'll put that down below. And then the size of the watercolor paper as well. Because these solid pieces of paper that I use as my accent background are really, they're from a regular 8x10 piece of paper, and then I just use my paper cutter and cut them down to this size. Okay, so I have those two done. So real quick, let's put this one together so you can see the complete process, and then we do have another one that we'll put together as well. So we'll start with these two, flip them over, and with the foamy double-sided tape, I just cut a couple little pieces, and I hope I can get this into the camera frame. Okay, they're just small little pieces. All I want to do is just create a little bit of a texture, or you know, that layered look. All right, so then I have two small pieces here as well. And if you've seen any of my previous videos, then you've seen me do this before. Now, if you don't have the foamy double-sided tape and you just have regular double-sided tape, that works just as well. It doesn't give, you know, the separation there, but that's okay. I do that on a lot of my cards. You know, I'll just use the regular double-sided tape because it still does show the layered look. And you can see that I really don't measure anything. I just kind of eyeball it. So that is one completed card, and it's really cute. Now, a lot of times I will take my Stickles glitter glue, which I don't have that out right now, but I use the iridescent, and I will go around the frames and just real quick put that on there, and maybe a couple little dots throughout the little piece of artwork. So I'm going to set that one aside. And now we have this one. So for this one, I think I'll do flowers a little bit differently, and then we'll be putting that on the pink background paper and see how that turns out. So let's see, let's set that aside. I'll grab my little pen again, my micron marker, and I think for this one we're going to do something a little different, kind of fun. We'll do a big center of the flower, kind of like a big sunflower center type of look to it, right? All right, and then with this, why don't we just put some dots in here. Make it kind of fun, and then of course we'll put our little textured lines towards the center of each one of the petals, and I hope you can see what I'm doing there. Okay, so there's one flower, and I could have even done that one a little bit larger actually, now that I look at that, but that's okay. Can't be too critical on myself, right? And so for this one, I'm going to do, this is a very abstract, but it's a fun one. And I had actually done a video of cards with these flowers on there. I think I called it my funky flowers because they are pretty funky looking. They're a lot of fun. All right, so there's that one. And then for down here, I think I'll do one of those kind of abstract, loose roses like I did in the first one. And I try to keep my pen very light, you know, so if it doesn't actually touch everywhere, that's fine. I think I'll do this side a little bit larger, make it kind of off center, you know. And with doing that, I'm going to put a big leaf over here. And another large leaf here, because everything about this flower seems to be large, right? And of course, you can put whatever kind of flowers and leaves and berries you want on here. You know, just remember, you always do you. Make it your own and just have fun with it. So I'm doing little different leaves on this one, as you can see. You know, keep in mind that I'm doing this as a set, so there's going to be several, you know, several cards, and I don't want them all to look the same. So I do have to come up with a little bit different of a look on each one of them. And that's what's so fun about it. You know, you can get really creative. And I think actually on this one, I'm going to just kind of put in some little dots to kind of fill in the background a little bit. They're just sporadic. And we'll put some over here. So this card is not going to have as many leaves. Now, some people, you know, absolutely love drawing leaves. And if you do, put a bunch of leaves on there. You could even do one of these with all leaves and really no flowers if you wanted to. So that's pretty minimal, and I like it. And so once again, I'm going to put the little border or frame on this. And you can see how quick and easy these go. And now you can kind of visualize a little bit better the blobs of paint. So even if you have little pieces of scrap paper laying around and wanted to create a bookmark with the same idea or technique, that would be really cute. Okay, so there's that one. See how quick that was? And that's really cute as well. So for this one, I am going to grab my pink background paper, and I put my marker away just a little too soon or too quick. So let me do a quick little frame on this. And these are just like little X's that I do, but if you wanted to do just, you know, dots every so often or whatever, you know, get creative with it. Just have fun. This is just my go-to. And you can see how quickly I'm doing this. The lines aren't straight, and I like it. All right, so set that aside, and once again, let me flip these two over. And I'll put my, which I know I have that out of the vision of the camera, and I do apologize. I actually do all my filming on my phone, and so it is pretty limited as to, you know, what I can fit in the viewing area. But you can see how small these pieces of the foam are, because we don't need a whole lot. All right, so then peel that backing off, and I'm gonna apply this. I'll see if I can get this centered a little bit better than I did that last one. Okay, so now I have my cardstock, and I'm just peeling the tape off of these also. Flip this around and place it right in the center. So there's my second card. Whoops, whoopsie, hold on here. Okay, so here are 2 of my cards, and I will obviously be making a few more for her. I just kind of wanted to share the process with you. So if you wanted to create some fun little greeting cards, you know, for the summer months, and these can be used for, you know, really anything. Just thinking of you, saying hello, miss you, whatever, even happy birthday. You know, you can do whatever you want with it. And I'll tell you what I didn't do, which I'm real quick, I'll show you on this one, just to give you an idea. With my small number 1 brush, I'm going to grab some of the white paint. And so with the white paint, if you wanted to go around the edges, and I'm just tapping in a little bit of white, you know, to give it a little bit of depth. So that's an option also that you could do. That's why I had my little white, or my little number 1 brush out, is to show you that. So that's, you know, just another little thing that you could add to the whole process. But once again, you know, use whatever colors you want, whatever flowers you want. I just wanted to put the idea out there for you so that you could have fun creating some little greeting cards. And as I mentioned, I will put down in the description the size of all of these, so if you did want to create your own. I'm also going to put down in the description box the materials that I'm using with links if you wanted to check those out. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you could go ahead and do that now, I would really appreciate it. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video, and also hit the bell if you would like to be notified when I have new videos coming out. And until next time, ciao for now.